Good day, guys. Today we'll be looking at the process of applying online at the University of Namibia, UNAM, especially for the new students. By new students, UNAM means students that have never applied at the university, students that have never studied at UNAM. So if you had applied at UNAM before, and you were issued a student number or your application was received, but you perhaps never gotten a response, you will be treated as a non-new student, and that will be covered in another video of how to apply as a returning student. Please do feel free to check that out. But today we'll be covering the process of how to apply as a new student, meaning you're applying for the very first time at the University of Namibia. Without any further ado, this is what you do. You open any of your favorite browsers, Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari if you're using Apple, and then you go to the University of Namibia's web address, which is www.unam.edu.na. At this time, we are under the assumptions that you already know what you want to come study for the following year at the University of Namibia. And in the cases where if you don't know what to come study, please do check out the website. On the website under faculties, campuses of faculties, you find quite extensive courses. So if you check out campuses, for instance, or under faculties, you will find all the faculties that the university currently has to offer. Choose your respective field that you want to come study in. If you want to come study education, for instance, you click on education, and under here on the far left side of the panel, you'll find all the information that you need to know about that particular faculty. The same is the same really for all the other faculties. It's the same design concept, so you can always check it out. Under law, for instance, you see it's exactly the same. If you read the faculty overview, you will then know more information about what the faculty is all about. And then all the undergraduate qualifications are here, as well as the postgraduate qualifications are also here. So undergraduate qualification, if you click on it, for instance, you'll find a list of all the undergraduate qualifications that are being offered by the Faculty of Law. If you'd like to come study customary law, for instance, if you click on it, information about that particular field will then be displayed in terms of all the requirements that you need to have, where it is offered, as well as the various subjects and modules that you'll be doing per year and per semester. So if you don't know what to come study yet, please make time and check out our website. It has all extensive details from School of Medicine and all the other faculties. Really, the design is the same. Check out all the qualifications and so on. All right, so how do you apply as a first year student? Again, on the same UNAM website, the second tab here where it says study at UNAM, you move your mouse and you go to online application as a new student. Online application information will give you all the details that you might need to know before you apply. And then online application here, you need to apply then as a new student. Now under this time, there are two things that you should have ready. One, you should know what to come study already, your first choice and your second choice. And then the second thing is you should have all the required documents readily scanned into your computers in a PDF format and saved on your computer so that you can make the upload quite easy. The system requires that all the documents should be in the PDF format, so please make sure that you are saving your documents on your computer. They should be in the PDF format. All right, so you go to study at UNAM, you move your mouse until online application as a new student, you click on it, and a form like this will appear. In terms of all the required documents for local students, they are listed here, all the compulsory documents. And for the international students, all the additional documents are listed here as well. So make sure that you have all these documents, and as indicated, they should be in the PDF format. So this is how the form to apply online for new student will look like. Just a few things to explain. Where you find a magnifying glass, please use it. It's used to input data that is already pre-populated for you. So please do not type in case you make an error. Rather use a magnifying glass so that you can choose the correct option that applies to you. And where you find a little red star like that, it's quite common at most fields. That means that field is compulsory. You must fill it out correctly. If you don't do so, the form will complain and give you an error and you will not be able to submit it. There are quite a few fields that are not compulsory, like the maiden married name, for instance, for those that are not married, that you can leave blank in the cases where it's not applicable to you. The third thing will be the calendar icon that is here. This is used to choose and select the date. Please, by all means, always use that calendar. Do not type in the date. At times it might complain because instead of writing 01, you might just write 1 for the day, or a month of 03, you might just write 3, and that will give the system an error. So always just use the calendar for an easier access. The final thing before we start, if you're not sure what to fill in at the specific field as well, if you move your mouse just to the title, it will tell you what is required of that specific field. If you move like that, for instance, it's like a little help guide for you, just to help you navigate through the form easily. All right, so quickly fill in the form. Title, there's a magnifying glass. Please use it and click it. In my case, I am a master. I will be selecting Mr. here. This will be the form feature that will be always coming up. Some fields are quite few and they are covered in one screen. Other fields might be too long. Regions, for instance, you might have to scroll. Countries, for instance, you might have to scroll forever. In the cases you don't want to do that, you can just place your mouse here and put in a minimum of 3 characters, and then you can search and it will come up. So in this case, it's already here, so I'll just say Mr. Another thing to consider at this particular point, which most users might complain, is about when they click on here, nothing pops up. That could be that the browser that you are using, pop-ups are not enabled. So please just quickly Google on how to enable your pop-ups. It's quite a 2, 3, 4 easy steps process, so that you can just enable your pop-ups. Otherwise, this little mini screen you might not be able to see, and that might give you errors going forward. So make sure that your pop-ups are enabled. So in my case, again, I select Mr. I put in my surname, that is my surname, and then my name. It doesn't really matter whether you are using small letters or big letters. The system will automatically auto-cap them. And then you put in your initials. Please take note that I'm just using random data. This is not real info. It's just for demonstration purposes. And then your marital status. In my case, I'm single. The maiden name, because I'm single, I do not have one. My gender, male, not female. So make sure that you select your correct gender. We use this for statistical purposes as well. And then my date of birth. Please, by all means, use the calendar. I would select my month. I was born in November, and then the year, you can either type it out or you can use your mouse arrow here to select the year that you were born. In my case, it was 99. It's October. You can go back 4th month like that, and it was the 22nd. Then my date of birth would then be input like that. My ID number. Again, I'm just using a random ID number that I've gotten. Now, most returning students, as probably explained in the returning students application, is in the case where you can reapply and you put in your ID number, the system will complain that that ID number is already been used. In that case, you then have to apply as a returning student because we already have all your info. You don't have to refill all this data anymore. So this is my ID number. Again, just random numbers. Citizenship, where am I from? This is where the list gets really long. You might not want to scroll as it may take time. So at the search criteria, just put in minimum of 3 characters. You can go further. It doesn't really, as long as it's a minimum of 3, you search. And then all the countries that has the word NAM appears. I'm from Namibia, so you just click on the code. As you can see, you can select that on the code itself. Then the country will be populated. My passport number. So if you do not have a passport as a Namibian student, please just copy your ID number or input your ID number as it is, and then you just place it there. In the cases where you are a student and you do not have an ID number yet, please use your date of birth or your birth certificate number that the system accepts as well. But please do not leave the passport number blank because you do not have it, for it's a mandatory field. For international students, this is a must field for you to enter your passport number, otherwise your application might be considered incomplete. Your mother tongue, again, fill in all the subjects that, the mother tongue that there's language that you speak at home. If it's English, let it be English. If it's Oshindonga or Rukwangari, then you select. Again, you can use the search criteria as I explained earlier. In this case, you can choose whichever one applies to you. The same for ethnic group. You can select whichever one that is applicable to you. Your postal address, it already says PO Box, so you don't need to start with PO Box again. You can just input the number. The suburb, maybe it's in commas down, depending on where you are from. The city or town, in my case, it's Windhoek. And then the region, again, make sure that you put in the correct region where you're from, where you're applying from, otherwise the system might give you an error. All right, valid email address. This is very important that you put in correct details of an email that is valid. By valid, we mean this email should be in existence, it should be working, and you should have access to it 24/7. This is where the status of your application will be sent to. This is where information pertaining your application details and so on will be sent to. Now, we understand that not all students might have valid emails, and we have made a system friendly enough that you can share an email. We do not recommend it, but the system allows for that. So we would advise you that you create your own email, have access to it. But in the cases where it's not possible, where we have senders with people assisting students and community members and so on, you can use one email address. Details about this particular student's application will be sent to that. So if I use this email address, for instance, and I go forward, you input your cell phone number, a valid one as well. And then you're asking for the type of school leaving certificate. Again, there's a magnifying glass. Just click on it, search for your type, NSCO or CH. In my case, it's CH. The last secondary school that you attended, where you are now, if you are still in school, or if you are improving, or you took a gap year, and so on, the school that you last attended. So again, you can use the search button, or you can scroll through and find it. In the cases where your school is not listed here for any other reason, maybe it's new or it was just omitted, you can either use other, or you can look for a school that is closest to you. It doesn't really matter much. So in my case, I was at Grootfontein College, and then the highest grade that I passed is in grade 11 because I'm still at school and I haven't passed my grade 12 yet. And the examination authority, again, the Cambridge, the Namibian department, you should know this. If not, please reach out to your school and inquire. Else, do reach out to us and see how we can further assist you. And then the application type, whether it's a postgraduate or an undergraduate. And this is one question that gets asked as well. Where do students that want to do their masters apply? We're using exactly the same form for postgraduate and undergraduate students. The only difference is that the application type, you then have to select whether you're coming to do your postgraduate or undergraduate. In my case, I'm still a student, grade 11, so probably the most applicable solution here would be my undergraduate studies. Once I am done, I would always advise students just to go through and make sure that all the details are correct. Once you are happy, you can click Save. If not, you can clear the form and start all over again. If you are happy, you click Save. Oh, sorry, my cell phone number, it's too long. So again, that's the error that you'll be getting. So if you are happy, you say Save, and the form would have been saved. You would then, once you click on save, the document, you'll be brought on this page. Three things happens on this page. On this page, you will then be issued your student number here. Please save it, store it at a secured place. This is the number that you'll be using to correspond with UNAM for the rest of your studies with the University of Namibia. If you need to make payments, that will be your reference number. If you have an inquiry, the status of your application, that will be the number that you'll be using going forward. At this particular time also, you are no longer then a new student. You will be treated as a returning student because you have been issued with a new number. So you don't have to go filling in another new application as a new student. Not only will you be issued another student number, which would cause confusion in the near future, it would also mean that your ID number might already be used up by the system. So this is the number that you'll be using. The third thing is the system would require you to create what we call a PIN. It is with this student number and the PIN that you will be using to log into your portal. On your portal, you can then continue further and see how to apply, to see the status of your application and get access to all the other information. So at this particular time, you need to create what we call a PIN. Now, there are a few rules in creating this PIN. The first rule is that the PIN should be a 5 numeric digit. By that, we mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. They should be numeric, meaning numbers, no letters. So strictly any number between 1 to 9 and 0. The second rule is that the number should not start with 0, otherwise the system will give an error. So don't start with 0, 1, 5, and so on. Another rule is that the 5 digits numeric PIN that you choose, the numbers must not repeat themselves must not repeat itself like following one another. So no double ones, no double zeros, no double threes or 5 or 7. So the numbers must all be unique, all 5 digits. And the last rule is that these numbers should not be consecutive, meaning do not use 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. The number should be 5 apart. A number like 59214, for instance, would be a good PIN to use. However, a number like 00117 will not be. Not only is it starting with 1, but it also has repeating numbers. A number like 15776 would also not be applicable because it's a double number that is repeating in there. So in my case, I'll go ahead and create my PIN, and then I would have to re-enter my PIN again, and I will just say create, and then the PIN would have been created. So once I log in, it will bring me to my what we call my portal. So this is to be my student portal as a new student, as a returning student. So it is on this portal then that you can apply for the academic, that you can apply for hostels, residence, and when the time is right and you have been admitted at UNAM, this is where you will be doing your online registration as well. So for you to do all that, you need to have your student number as well as the PIN that you created. In the cases you forgot your student number and the PIN that you created, the system automatically sends an email to the email address that you provided us with your student number, your name, surname, and a few of your biographical information that you just filled in, as well as the PIN. So at this time, you can pause here and come back and continue your application, or you could continue going forward as well. It is on this same portal that returning students will then come on and complete their details depending on whether they want to apply for the academic applications or the residence application. So as a new student, this is how you would go on and apply. So if you're applying as a first-time student, you just go under application, and then you complete all the steps that are there. And that is explained very well and nicely in the video of as a returning student, because it is then covers the same concept and the same aspect. So now, thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask and engage with us at UNAM. Again, if you go on our website, at the very bottom, we have our switchboard number. You can call the number and ask to be transferred to any department. Or if you go under the faculties or the campuses and you go under the contact details, under the departments or so on, economics, for instance, all the relevant authorities will be there under team, as well as their contact numbers and email addresses are there. If you know a specific staff member that you are looking for, a lecturer or the HOD and so on, all their details are there as well. The HOD, if that is the info that you need, if you click on his picture, then the relevant contact details will be there as well. This is the same concept for any other team member across all faculties. So this is like a lecturer, for instance. If you click on there, the details will be there, as well as the office number in the cases you need to make a visit to on campus. So that is how to apply and create your profile. In our next video, we'll be talking about how then to fully complete your application. That video is applying as a returning student, because remember now at this particular time you got issued with a student number, and hence you will be treated as a returning student. Thank you.